Hmm. It, something you just said. This is something that bothers me is like when parents or peers tell younger kids like you can be anything you want. It's like, okay, listen, I get that they're children and I get that you want to take it easy, but we should be a little more realistic because we're setting them up for failure pretty much. Like you can be anything you want to be if you can work hard at it. And if you have like when I was younger, people were like, you can be an Olympic swimmer. No, I can't. I'm not built to be an Olympic swimmer, no matter how hard I train. So the whole time in swimming, I was like, I'm going to be an Olympian. And then when you get to a point where you're like, oh shit, there's no way, like I can't, then they set you up for failure. So I feel like we should tell kids and young adults, like I'm a young adult too, but like, I feel like we should tell them like, if you put the work in, maybe you can be that thing. Like just I don't know what to say properly, but like just be more realistic, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you're really, really right. And interestingly, so I just wrote, or actually almost done writing, the companion journal that goes with the Don't Fight Mad book. And one of the exercises that I talk about in there is precisely what you're talking about. So thanks for that that softball. Um, but one of the things that I say in the journal is that I am never going to be an Olympic Taekwondo sparer. Never gonna happen. For one thing, I'm almost 60. Another thing, I have a titanium shoulder and a titanium knee. And another thing, I've just never had that degree of skill. So, one of two things could happen. I can either be devastated, I can give up on martial arts because I'm never gonna be an Olympic Taekwondo competitor. Or I can say, okay, if that's this, what are the tangential things that I can do? Well, I can own a school. I can teach children and adults how to do martial arts. I can still compete. Now, I can't spar anymore because I got, fake joints, but I'll tell you what I did last night. So, in this pandemic, and because we can't, be together right now, the association that I'm with, which is the Ernie Reyes Association, did a national tournament. And last night the black belts competed. Today all the color belts are going to be competing. And we're on Zoom calls all over the country. And so if I ask my students to compete, I always feel like I need to compete too. They need to see their master instructor out there. I had planned on being in Texas this week so I could do it at my studio because the for the master level instructors, we had to do this sword form. And so I had planned on being at my studio because I have big, tall ceilings and I could do my sword form. Well, obviously, with the, apocalypse of snow in Texas this week, I wasn't able to get back to Texas. So I'm still here in Florida. Well, I live in a tiny little cottage. You can probably see how low my ceilings are in here. There's no possible way. Hang on, I'll show you that I was going to do a sword form. in
Yeah,
my
there's no way.
And so it turned out that my division was competing yesterday, California time at 6:15, which in Florida is 9:15. So it's dark. So even doing it out on my patio was too dark. So I ended up competing last night in my driveway, and my son parked his car facing, so I'm up against the garage door
Oh
and
my.
car with the headlights, so it was light enough, and I have a mat that I took out there to sit on until it was my turn, moved the bat aside, got out there, did my sword form, and then, sat and waited until it was my turn to go again. So, you just make stuff happen. So, yeah, you just have to look at life in a way that is not what's the obvious answer, because sometimes it's not obvious and sometimes you just got to do some weird stuff. So can I be an Olympic Taekwondo competitor? No. Can I inspire my students by standing out on my driveway at 9:15? I'm sure my neighbors were like, "Who's the crazy lady out there screaming with the sword?" But I'm in full uniform, black belt, and my sword. Aya, 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 yes, sir. At 9:15 at night. You find the stuff that you can do and you do the best that you can at it. And you find, I mean, you can see I'm super excited about this. You find joy in the things that you can do. And I think your point about realism for our kids is so important because I don't know if you've read Angela Duckworth's book, Grit.
No.
I highly recommend it. And her point is that, we're constantly telling our kids how great they are, how beautiful they are, how smart they are, how talented they are. And we don't spend as much time telling them, you know what? Yeah, you lost that particular competition and I'm so proud of you for how hard you tried and for the way that you congratulated the winner or the things that show resilience, the way that our kids bounce back. We don't build in grit. We just let them know how fabulous they are. And then when they're not fabulous, they fall flat on their faces, and it's no one's fault but ours. We need to teach our children that resilience and flexibility and adaptability is every bit as important as getting that gold medal.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. I was having this talk with my mom a couple months ago because she was asking me, because I was so annoyed with like the pandemic, and then mental health cases were on the rise, but there were no resources out there that kind of, because they took all of the stress outlets away for
Mm.
lockdown, but then they didn't replace it with anything. So they kind of just caged people in their houses and then force fed them negative media. And then the news articles coming out were like, why are mental health cases rising? And I was just, yeah, wow, what a freaking coincidence. And I was just really pissed off. So I was talking to my mom, and we kind of got on the topic about like why people in their 20s kind of experience a lot of mental health issues, or like not even like mental illness per se, but like a lot of us experience like depressive states. And I was telling her like when because I'm 23, like when we're kids, we're told we can do anything, and we're not taught like how to deal with stress or build resilience or do these things. So when we're kind of like through high school, it's fine, like because we're still at our parents' house, we're still baby, like we're still told we're awesome, and teachers in high school like chase after you if you don't make your assignment. They're like, hey, you got to do this. You go off to uni, you go off to the workforce, you go off to college, they don't give a crap. They don't care who you are.
You pay your tuition.
Yeah,
That's all I care about.
you're a
Yeah.
dollar sign to these people, like, and then once you get there, you're like, oh crap, like they don't think I'm the king of the world. And then like you said, you fall flat on your face. It's all about teaching them like, listen, the world can be harsh, like it can, and there's ways to deal with it, and there's ways to deal with stress, there's ways to deal with failure, because you're going to experience it, and we just
Absolutely.
don't teach them that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a big failing, I think, in my generation, because we wanted so much for our kids, and we wanted everything to be perfect for our kids, and we invented the whole helicopter parent thing, and your generation has suffered as a result of that, and it was not anything malign. It was definitely born of love,
Hmm.
but it was ill considered. And I think you're right. I think kids, your kids, forgive me, you're a grown man, but your generation has suffered from that because you haven't been given the skills
Yeah.
to bounce back. And talking about mental health, I talk a lot about in the book about being depressed and having your legs kicked out from under you with life, and how martial arts in large part for me was real salvation. I getting the chance to go and work and train and change your body and change your mindset is so important. And I think we underestimate the value of a few good endorphins. And there are days when I was going through my second divorce, and it was a horrible situation. My ex-husband had cheated on me multiple times. He had run our school into the ground financially, and I mean, I was writing personal checks to make payroll just to keep the front door open.
Sounds like
Uh,
fun.
Oh, it was miserable. It was miserable, and I was just devastated and, just emotionally so completely drained. But there were times, I would drive over to my studio, which was close to my house, 11 o'clock at night, lock the doors, turn the music up as loud as I wanted because I was in a strip mall. There was nobody else there. I would blast the music, strap on my gloves, put on the ring timer, 10 3-minute rounds, and I would just go, 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 and dripping and sweating and, just going for it. And after 30 minutes, it was like, okay, I can deal. I can get through the next day because you get that endorphin buzz and it does uplift your spirits. And I mean, I don't want to overstate the value of it. I mean, if you have genuine serious mental health issues, you need to see a professional. But if you're dealing with that kind of residual low level depression and anxiety and you're just struggling with stuff that's coming at you that life is just throwing at you and you're just taking punch after punch after punch. I mean, that for me was so helpful.